Well, it's a very warm welcome back to a second half independent off-tube studio commentary from the game at the Santiago Bernabeu, where Real Madrid lead against Inter Milan in this shootout to win the Group D in the Champions League. As it stands, Real will go through first. Inter will go through as second place. That was already decided before the game this evening. But the visitors can feel a little bit frustrated that they're down at half-time. Have made one change as well, as Inter looking to get forward straight away. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and Dan McCarthy taking you through the action. And Dan, Inter pretty much just need to start where they left off, really.
Yeah, they had a really good 45 minutes, and they are quite unfortunate to be one goal down. Of course, Real Madrid would counter that and say we took our chance that came our way, and Inter didn't really take any of theirs. But they had plenty of possession. They looked lively when they were coming forward. Some of the link-up play between the midfielders in particular, the likes of Calhanoglu, Barella, was really good. So if they can pick up where they left off, they've got every chance of overturning this and potentially finishing top of the group.
That's what they'll be looking to do as Bastoni now brings the ball forward. We'll just wait for this passage of play to be played out, and then I'll remind you of the two teams and confirm that one change for Inter as well. But here is Perisic now down the left-hand side, leaves the ball here for Calhanoglu. Back towards Federico Di Marco, who is the substitute. He's come on for Denzel Dumfries. Bastoni now over towards the right-hand side for Skriniar, trying to play a quick 1-2 with Brozovic. He's through the middle, but that's picked off by Casemiro. There could be a counter-attack for Real now as the ball goes out towards the left-hand side for the goal scorer Cruz. He's got an overlap here from Vinicius Jr. Just being marshalled there by Brozovic. Played back towards Ferland Mendy. And Real now just holding the ball on the halfway line. So for Real, it is Thibaut Courtois in goal with a back four of Dani Carvajal, Eder Militao, David Alaba and Ferland Mendy. Luka Modric, Casemiro and Toni Kroos are the three in midfield, with Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr. and Luka Jovic as the three up front. I'll do the Inter side in just a moment. We'll see this passage of play from Real now as they're trying to push forward towards the penalty area. The ball is with Modric. Trying to play a 1-2 there with Jovic. Jovic, for under pressure, having to play it all the way back in towards his own half. So for Inter, Samir Handanovic is in goal. It's a back three of Danilo D'Ambrosio, Milan Skriniar and Alessandro Bastoni. Federico Di Marco has come on for Denzel Dumfries. It'll be Ivan Perisic on the other side, although it looks as though Di Marco may be playing on the left as well. The three in midfield are Nicolo Barella, Marcelo Brozovic and Hakan Calhanoglu, with Edin Dzeko and Lautaro Martinez as the two up front. And here come Inter now with a great chance. The ball is played through to Barella, and Barella hits it over the bar. He's got to do better there. He's had such a good game, Barella. The dictionary definition of a midfielder this evening. He really is everywhere, but he should score there. Yeah,
he's a proper box-to-box midfielder, isn't he? And he should be scoring that goal. It's a really good pick out of him. Just controls the ball, and all you've got to do is get that one on target, because you've just got to fire it high into the roof of the net. But he fires it too far over. What a great chance that was for Inter Milan.
It was a great chance for Inter, but it could be a great chance for Real now. A long clearance taken down by Rodrigo for Vinicius. Gets to the edge of the area, plays a quick 1-2, and goes on the overlap now for the pass from Cruz, but he just couldn't keep it in play. And it is out for a goal kick with nearly 3.5 minutes on the clock, and it's being played at the same frantic pace we saw in the first half. Let's hope for more of the same.
Yeah, and I don't really think we were expecting anything too different because of the context of this game and because of what's at stake. It is essentially a shootout for top spot, with both sides already qualified into the last 16 stage, so they can afford to take the handbrake off as Real Madrid came forward there. I think what Carlo Ancelotti may have said at half-time is that, you know, you can let Inter Milan try and come at you because they leave so many gaps at the back. They've got the pace up front, maybe to try and get them on the counter-attack. So if Inter do have plenty of the ball, I don't think Carlo Ancelotti will be too worried.
No, I don't think so. I think that he was expecting that his side are going to be put under some pressure this evening. Ferland Mendy's been put under pressure. Kroos has been put under pressure. Lays that ball off to Casemiro, and that is a strong challenge there on the Brazilian. He's lying around in pain right now. It was a strong challenge there coming in from D'Ambrosio. And Casemiro really looks like he's in a lot of pain there.
Yeah, he does. He's writhing around. He's been tended to by his teammate David Alaba, and now they've called the physio on. It's one of those where he's sliding in on the challenge. He's perhaps stretched a little bit awkwardly, and his legs may be buckled ever so slightly, and you can see straight away that he's felt the pain, and we'll have to see whether he's going to be okay to carry on.
Yeah, it certainly would be a shame for Real if he had to go off. He's pretty much an ever-present in that central midfield, has been for a good few seasons now. And he's being checked over. There are plenty of options, of course, with these extended benches for Champions League games. So really, it's almost like a raffle as to see who Ancelotti could use here to replace him.
Yeah, I think that was Eduardo Camavinga going onto the touchline to get warmed up. So he'd be the most natural replacement as a defensive-minded central midfielder. Casemiro, they might not want to take too many risks with him, not just from an injury point of view, but for the fact as well that he's a booking away from being suspended for the first round of 16 game, as is Ferland Mendy. No one's in that position for Inter Milan, as Camavinga just getting warmed up gently. I think they're going to try and see if Casemiro can run this one off, though.
Looks like it, yeah. There doesn't seem to be too much suggesting that he can't come back on the field, so it looks like he is going to try and run this off. It is a free kick to Real after that foul on the Brazilian. Kroos takes it and aims at Jovic, who heads it down, looking for Vinicius Jr. That's a really good header, and Vinicius is able to run into the box now, plays that across for Jovic. Oh, it just gets stuck in his feet, can't get the shots away. Following it up is Rodrigo on the right-hand side. His shot is also charged down and deflected out for a corner. Yeah,
it was slightly unlucky that for Jovic that it wouldn't quite come to him, but nice persistence of the fact that he was able to regather the ball and then play it back out wide to Rodrigo, who drilled it towards goal. It took a big deflection on its way through. And now Real Madrid with another corner kick.
Corner from the right-hand side. 6 minutes into this second half. Kroos is standing over it. Plenty of players inside the penalty area. And it's Vinicius just lurking at the edge of the area. It's an outswinger towards the edge of the 6-yard box. And it's Casemiro back on the field, getting his head to that, but it's over the bar.
Yeah, good opportunity that. And, well, Casemiro is clearly going to be fine to carry on now as he out-jumped Milan Skriniar. Just got underneath the ball, so he was unable to direct it back towards goal. But another fast start to this second half.
It certainly is, and it's Real with a couple of chances, which must be a bit of a worry here for Simeone and Inzaghi. Switch pass aimed at the Calhanoglu over on the left-hand side. That one's picked off, and then a pass to Modric at the edge of the D is just behind him. The Ambrosio that doesn't hang around plays the ball up towards Lautaro Martinez. That's a very heavy touch, though, from the Argentine. Easily won back by Modric. And now play down the left-hand side here for Vinicius Jr. He's full of running, plays that ball into the box now for Jovic. Tight angle, Jovic tries to get a shot or a ball across the 6-yard box. Deflects out, and it's another corner.
A good centre-forward play from Jovic. The fact that he just got himself ahead of Bastoni there, and then Bastoni couldn't really make a challenge because the ball was away from him. He would have clattered into Luka Jovic, so he just bought him that extra half second to get the ball across. It took another deflection. It's another corner kick, but Real Madrid can be encouraged by the start they've made to this second half.
They certainly can. It's been a very positive start from the home side. Right now, a second goal for them seems more likely than an instant equaliser, and it's Kroos with the in-swinger from the left-hand side. Good header away at the near post. Looks like it was D'Ambrosio that got his head to that. Modric now trying to play that ball out towards Kroos on the left-hand side, but it's picked off by Barella, and Barella is charging down the right-hand side. He's only got Martinez to aim for in the box, and there are 4 Real players, so he cuts it back for Brozovic. Players arriving in, Inter players arriving in numbers now with Dzeko over towards Di Marco. He tries an early cross from the left-hand side. It deflects out for a throw.
Yeah, good counter-attack that from Inter Milan. Barella maybe thought he'd just taken it a bit too far forward, perhaps a bit too slow in getting the ball across from the right-hand side, but this is what Inter need to do more of.
Here is Brozovic now down the left, just under pressure there from just being closed down by Casemiro, going back towards Skriniar. Options left and right. Calhanoglu now trying to thread a ball through to the edge of the area. Martinez just wants too much time to turn at the edge of the area. Casemiro is able to pick his pocket, and now Vinicius is off down the left-hand side, but he's stopped by Danilo D'Ambrosio, and that's going to be a booking for D'Ambrosio as well. He's not on a warning for a previous yellow card, so he'll be okay, and I'm not sure he can argue too much about the decision either.
Yeah, he's just having a bit of a joke and a wag of the finger there with Vinicius Jr. Slightly clumsy from the centre-back. Again, though, it's what you see more and more of these days from attacking players. They know exactly what they need to do in order to buy fouls and get other players booked.
In fairness, defenders and goalkeepers have been learning to do it recently as well. You know that they know how to show that there's been some sort of contact. just because I suppose it's all a fallout from when players dived and referees always bought it, so now there's got to be a little bit more intricacy about it all. But here come Real now with Vinicius, ball into the box. Jovic, tight angle, he fires at the near post, forces a good save there from Handanovic, and the ball now at the edge of the area with Barella playing it up towards the halfway line. It deflects off Cruz. Barella is chasing this one. Mendy gets there first and plays it inside towards Casemiro, and Real now can go down the left-hand side again. But it's clear that Ancelotti has told his players they need to fight fire with fire in this second half.
Absolutely. I was surprised that Jovic took that one on first time because of how narrow the angle was, but he really caught it sweetly. It was a powerful effort driven towards Handanovic, who, because of the angle, and he was covering the near post, he was able to get to it. But Real Madrid bursting forward again.
Here they go down the left-hand side. And Vinicius gets stopped by Skriniar. Then Skriniar, the ball just squirms away from him. He can't quite stop it from going out for a throw. So it's still going to be a possession for Real down the left-hand side. That effort from Jovic, you mentioned, just seen a replay of it now. It really was a good strike. You almost couldn't see the goal. It was just he sort of swung a left foot at it and made a really good contact with the ball as well. But it was well saved by Handanovic. Casemiro does really well there. Two Inter players trying to stop him. He finds Rodrigo. Carvajal now joining the attack on the right-hand side. Being blocked here by Perisic, inside towards Casemiro, back towards Carvajal. And Inter players flooding that half of the field, so Carvajal forced to go back towards the halfway line here for Eder Militao. Arturo Vidal, by the way, is getting ready to come on for Inter. So Inzaghi is trying to spice up his midfield as well, as here come Real down the left-hand side as Vinicius Jr. is caught. And the referee, well, he's trying to calm down the Inter players here who are saying that there's no foul. Skriniar feels incandescent there that there was no contact or not enough contact to give the free kick. And well, having seen that replay, I tend to agree with him. I
agree with him as well, and there's no wonder he was so full of rage towards the referee. Again, though, it's clever play from Vinicius Jr. Now, exactly what he needs to do. I think that's part of the thing with players who are so quick. They are, more likely to go down and try and buy those at fouls, because you never quite know with the...
Absolutely. Well, they're going to panic the defender because they're so fast, and the referee has to make such a split-second decision with free kicks because of the contact. Was there enough contact? And often the player can sometimes just get that extra decision in his favour. But it's a great chance here now for Real. Free kick at the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Cruz lifts that far too high. Evades all the players in white Real shirts. It's pumped back into the box by Carvajal. Bounces over the head of Di Marco. There's still a chance here for Rodrigo. Sends it off for Casemiro. Casemiro with the strike. It's on target. But Handanovic watches it all the way and makes a good save.
Yeah, probably fell to the wrong man in Casemiro. There was nothing too wrong with the strike, I suppose, but it was too close to the goalkeeper. Came through a few legs to get there as Inter Milan are ready to make these changes. It's Matthias Vecino and Arturo Vidal about to come on. That'll be in the next break of play, though, as he's looking to freshen up his midfield, I think, Simone Inzaghi, feeling that the energy's running slightly low, perhaps.
Yeah, but you think about how much running that Brozovic and Barella in particular have done in this game. There's certainly an argument to say Lautaro Martinez has been a little bit off the pace as well. I'm just thinking whether or not he's considering a change for him. Of course, you can make 5 substitutions in Champions League games. It does give the managers that little bit more of an option to change things. But as it stands, it is Inter in possession, but they're just being stopped on the halfway line right now. Skriniar forced to play this back towards Bastoni and D'Ambrosio. And the two Inter subs are having to do some sprints on the halfway line because they're probably hoping to have been on by now, but the ball's just not gone out of play. Brozovic now with a lovely diagonal ball to pick out Perisic on the left-hand side. Perisic puts a cross in, aimed at Lautaro Martinez. Both sets of players have their arms up. I thought it could have been a corner, actually, as it was put in, but I think it has been given as a goal kick.
Yeah, the high fives going from the Real Madrid defenders to each other as the ball was swung in towards Lautaro Martinez.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually headed from Militao onto Martinez's head, so quite unfortunate, really. Thought if it had reached Dzeko, it could have been a different story, but those changes are coming now. Çalhanoğlu is coming off, and Vecino is on in his place.
That's right, so the Uruguayan coming on for the Turkish international.
Alexis Sanchez coming on too.
Yeah, so these are changes aplenty here. Marcelo Brozovic is going off to be replaced by Arturo Vidal. Doesn't surprise me that if you were going to leave one of those 3 central midfielders, you would leave Barella, because he's just looked superb this evening. But the TV pictures that we're getting, they're trying to keep up with all these changes as well. But the long and short of it is there has been a triple change for Inter. So they've now made 4 changes in total, and it's Alexis Sanchez who is on for Edin Dzeko. Teo Vittino is on for Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and Arturo Vidal is on for Marcelo Brozovic. Attacking changes all round, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, freshening up the midfield, and already it's had an effect because they've given the ball away early.
Yeah, great chance here now, straight away off the bench for Alexis Sanchez. He tries an early shot, and already a bit of frustration there from teammates that perhaps he could have passed the ball. Perisic certainly not too happy with his new teammate on the field there.
No, he's not. I think what Sanchez will bring, though, is he'll bring that extra bit of mobility to the forward line that Dzeko, for all his good work that he does in the box, he's not necessarily the quickest outside. Sanchez, we know from his days at Arsenal what a dangerous player he can be. We know from his days at Manchester United how much his career tumbled with the move there, but from his point of view, he'll be hoping that he can get back on track with Inter Milan, and it is more of an attacking change, and with Vecino and Vidal as well, he'll be a new midfielder in there to try and contend with Real Madrid, as Liverpool have taken the lead now at AC Milan.
They have. Speaking to our colleagues who are doing the off-tube commentary, they said it wasn't actually particularly exciting first half, looking a little bit disjointed perhaps with all the changes that Jurgen Klopp has made, but he'll be very pleased that his side are now 2-1 up in Milan. Meanwhile, the other Milan side are trying to get forward down the left here with a long ball played down towards Perisic. He does keep it in, a bit of a battle for it at the edge of the area, but it's headed away by Militao. Just got there ahead of Arturo Vidal, and now Carvajal completes the work, getting the ball towards Toni Kroos. And here's a chance for Vinicius Junior down the left-hand side. A couple of Inter players closing him down straight away, including Sanchez. They're trying to just put as much pressure as they can on Real. Still plenty of time here in this game. 61 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Real still lead against Inter by a goal to nil. Ajax, meanwhile, are now 4-1 up against Sporting. And it's Berghuis with the last goal there for Ajax. But Dortmund 3-0 up against Besiktas. And FC Porto goal down at home to Atletico Madrid. And in the other game in this group, Shakhtar still lead against Tiraspol by a goal to nil. Here come Inter now down the left-hand side. Barella getting into a bit of a scuffle there, and this is going to lead to problems, I think, because Nicolo Barella, I think, has thumped Militao there with the fist towards the calf or the back of the thigh there, and that's got a reaction from both sets of players.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Barella get sent off for this. It was a punch out. I think he's almost mitigated himself by at least not punching him in the face. That's one thing you've got to say about that. But a long ball played over to that far side. Barella was just barged out of the way there. It's the defending work from it was Eder Militao coming across. We'll just have another look at the replay. He hits the advertising hoardings.
Yeah, I think he feels as though Militao has just done a little bit too much. I mean, Militao does put a bit of a shoulder in, but that's an everyday thing in football. You do see players bumping into the advertising boards on more than one occasion. And I just wonder if Felix Brisha, referee, is going to be asked to have a look at this himself, or whether or not there's going to be any argument to say that it's enough for a red card. As it is, the referee is calling over Barella and Militao, so this potentially might mean it's going to be a booking each. I'd like to second guess that at this stage, but for the time being, it looks as though the referee is just explaining to Barella he's getting a card out. And is it going to be yellows all round? Well, it's a yellow for Militao. It's going to be a red for Barella. The referee turned it into a little bit of a theatrical performance there, but the fact is that he went to the shirt pocket for the yellow, and then he had to go into the back pocket for the red.
I don't think we're either of us are surprised for the challenge of what Barella did. It's really silly, and it's such a shame as well, because he was having a very good game, Nicolo Barella. He's drawn a bit of blood on the elbow. I think that's maybe where he might have clattered into the advertising hoardings, but just as he rolls over, he thumps Militao on the back of the thigh and then crawls between his legs. It's all very theatrical. It's all quite funny to watch as a neutral, but Barella, very silly indeed from the Italy midfielder. There's no real reason for him to do it. Yes, he's frustrated, but
I sometimes get frustrated when the fans of rugby union or rugby league sometimes mock footballers for the play acting and for the diving around, but when you see that, you can sort of see what they mean, because it is quite comical, really. I mean, Militao's got every right to go for the ball. And Barella is unhappy with the way that he was pushed into the advertising boards. But if you raise a fist and hit a player, or even just motioning to do it, can get you a red card these days. So that's a bit of a shame, not just for Inter, but from us, for ourselves, the neutrals in this, because now, of course, the game is going to change with Inter down to 10 men. Absolutely,
and it's a real shame for Inter in the fact that they're now very unlikely to finish top spot, and it'll feel a bit of a damp squib. I mean, Simone Inzaghi will be, I think, after this game, with that red card in mind, he'll be ruining some of their missed opportunities in that first half. They weren't absolutely peppering Thibaut Courtois' goal with chances, but there was some really nice build-up play up front, and all that appears to be undone.
Yeah, it has all been undone. We've still got 25 minutes to play, plus a little bit of injury time. Score hasn't changed since the 17th minute when Toni Kroos gave Real Madrid the lead. Inter are now down to 10 men, and here come Real down the right-hand side with Carvajal. Just leaves the ball for Rodrigo. Steps over a couple of players. Great run this from Rodrigo. Then plays the ball into Jovic, who does well to step away from two Inter players. Plays it to Vinicius on the left-hand side. He tries a curling effort, which never really curls as much as it needed to. And the ball is out for a goal kick. We can see that Nicolo Barella is still in the tunnel. It's almost like he's hoping for some very delayed VAR reprieve, but it's not going to happen. The card's been and gone, and now fifth and final change here for Inter to try and plug that gap in midfield. And it looks like it's going to be Roberto Gagliardini to come on for Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah, no real surprise to see that that gap has been plugged, as you mentioned, by Simone Inzaghi. They don't want to be overrun in midfield because they'll then have a lack of options at the back, and Real Madrid could carve them open. It means that Alexis Sanchez has certainly got a lot of running to do from now until the end of the game. I suppose with that in mind, Simone Inzaghi is probably still thinking that his side can get back into this if they battle in midfield and they're able to try and just get that one opportunity maybe to set Sanchez away.
I think that if they were to, if they're able to avoid defeat from this position, it will be a real boost to their already very high confidence, considering that they haven't lost since mid-October. But considering the position they're in now, away from home, a goal down against Real Madrid and down to 10 men, it really would be quite an achievement to not lose from here. But you can see straight away Real are pressing ever and ever higher as Inter try and play out from the back. The Ambrosio's under pressure and he slices that. That is pretty unforgivable, really, because Inter had enough time to get rid of that ball, and in the end it's just a very flat pass back and it goes out for a gift of a corner.
And that's what Real Madrid are going to do now. They're going to sense that there's a real opportunity to get the second goal, which would probably seal the victory. They've got an extra man, so they can afford to press a bit more because Inter have got fewer weapons at the disposal to press back. So good play that from Real Madrid. Try and force the mistakes out of Inter Milan.
Absolutely. Corner kick now on the left-hand side for Real. Good chance here for them to try and double their lead. There is the short ball option there to Vinicius, but it looks like it's going to be whipped straight into the edge of the 6-yard box, just over the head of Militao. It was Modric at the edge of the area trying to head that back towards goal. It's headed away. Ferland Mendy has a second go. It's collected here by Arturo Vidal. Back towards D'Ambrosio, once again playing hospital balls at the edge of his own box, just about getting away with it this time, but then the goalkeeper Handanovic plays a terrible ball out from his 6-yard box towards the left-hand side. Yeah, gets a reprieve after a bit of a poor pass from Militao, but straight away that red card is just causing chaos here for Inter right now.
Yeah, it's just completely disjointed from Inter Milan's point of view. They can't really string passes together at the minute. I don't think Real Madrid have been great this evening, but they've been functional enough at least. And with that goal advantage, and knowing that Inter Milan are down to 10 men, you could quite easily see the home side pick them off and maybe get 2 or 3.
Absolutely, you certainly couldn't rule that out. It's Inter now playing out from the back. We'll just see this move off, and then I'll hand over to Dan for the remainder of the match. But it's with Alexis Sanchez to Ivan Perisic, left-hand edge of the penalty area. Good ball in. It's Di Marco with the header, and it's into the arms of Courtois. In an ideal world, perhaps Di Marco could have headed that ball across the 6-yard box rather than towards goal. Doesn't know too much about it. It's off the side of his head rather than the forehead.
Yeah, I think he is trying to go for goal there. He's probably not aware that he's maybe got teammates around him. At least that's refreshing to see that Inter are still willing to commit many bodies forward when they come forward on the attack. And they'll want to try and get the equalising goal as Real Madrid about to bring on Eduardo Camavinga.
Yeah, and as they do that, I will hand over to Dan for the remainder of this game. It's 69 minutes gone now. Real Madrid 1, Inter 0, and it's Dan to take us through to full time.
Cheers, Paul. Well, Camavinga will have to wait for the next gap in play. I wonder if that maybe will be to come on for Casemiro. Now, not thinking of the injury, but thinking of the fact that he's a yellow card away from missing the first leg of the round of 16. Those games will take place in mid to late February as Ferland Mendy picks the ball up now. Here is Vinicius Junior inside for the goal scorer Toni Kroos. Feels like a while ago since he put Real Madrid in front. Square ball across to Carvajal, and now Modric rolls it back to Eder Militao, who found himself at the centre of attention for that red card, but he was able to get away with just a yellow, which I think is fair enough. He didn't do anything worthy of a red card. The retaliation was worthy of a yellow, but Barella, a silly boy in midfield, and that's something that he's got to learn from as Casemiro scoops it over the top. It's a really good ball, and that's an excellent stop from Handanovic. It keeps out the effort from Rodrigo, and Vinicius Junior is going to allow that one to roll out of play for a throw-in right by the corner flag. That's a majestic ball forward, though, from Casemiro. Great awareness to spot the run of Rodrigo.
It is. It looks like he's just a hit and hope, but he knows exactly what he's doing there. It's very measured, and the ball played across. But in the meantime, Vinicius Junior is down, and the Inter players are frustrated here.
Yeah, they certainly are, as Felix Brick just having a word with one of them. It is going to be Casemiro, so that chipped ball over the top was his last stand, and on in his place will come the extremely talented young Frenchman Eduardo Camavinga. He's only 18 years old, but there are a queue of clubs wanting to take him from Rennes in the summer. Real Madrid won that particular battle. You'd probably say he is the long-term replacement for Casemiro in that holding midfield role, and he's now got to trying to put an experienced head upon his very young shoulders and marshal his side through the rest of the contest. Sensible call that from Carlo Ancelotti, given the situation with Casemiro.
I think so. With that booking and that slight knock as well, we can see consistency from Real. They had 7 shots in the first half. They've already had 7 shots in the second. Just 4 shots from Inter in the second half. They had 13 in the first.
Here is Eder Militao across now to Dani Carvajal, and now the fresh legs of Camavinga. He plays it forward into Jovic. Back now with Camavinga. And here is David Alaba for Luka Modric, who's taken up a position on the left side. Forward now to Ferland Mendy inside the Inter half. It's now with Rodrigo, who's got chalk on his boots. Here is Modric back inside now. Over towards Carvajal, and now Rodrigo picks it up on the far side. He's running there up against DiMarco. Rodrigo looking to try and take it around Ivan Perisic, but Inter Milan are able to win the ball back, and it's with Perisic, but he's in a very deep position, not where he wants to be. Here is Arturo Vidal, the very extravagant Chilean midfielder who will bring such energy to the side, and that's so cool from Inter Milan, the way that they've just been playing the ball around their back line with Real Madrid players all over them. But they're managing to keep hold of possession, and again with Vecino, who rolls it back now towards his goalkeeper. Looks like a very lively game between Porto and Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid lead by 1-0, but there's been a red card apiece as Inter now come down the other side with Sanchez. Sanchez goes for a crossfield ball. DiMarco is able to head it downwards, looking for Perisic, and then DiMarco rolls it back to the substitute, the 5th substitute, the number 5, Roberto Gagliardini. Here is Vidal, now through to Sanchez. Sanchez trying to play the ball inside for D'Ambrosio, who'd made the move forward, but Real just get there in the nick of time. Skriniar's now won it off Vinicius Junior. Here is Vecino, now for Vidal. This is where the extra freshness of the Inter midfield can come into play. It's a cross into the box there by Perisic. He tried it with the outside of his right boot, but Real live to fight another day. Carvajal can clear it towards Eduardo Camavinga, who's now running up alongside Vidal. He plays it forward into Luka Jovic. That's a clear foul there in midfield. It's Bastoni who stuck his leg out, and he's going to be the latest to go into the book.
He is. Bastoni does pick up a yellow card, but I am impressed by these fighting qualities from Inter in this game. They weathered a bit of an early storm after that red card, and now, as you mentioned, the fact that they have made all those changes in midfield does mean that there are some fresh legs on the field, and there's still a fighting chance here for Inter.
It certainly is, but they need to be wary of giving away cheap fouls and cheap free kicks like that. Here is Luka Modric over to the far side now, where Rodrigo has the ball. This is what Real Madrid need to do. They did it towards the end of the first half, but not often enough. They just need to control the possession and force into some extra running. That's not a great ball from Ferland Mendy. He's just about bailed out by Camavinga, and now they can head the ball to one another. Camavinga taking no chances, rolling it back to the Belgian goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois, as we're not far away from entering the final 15 minutes. It still remains Real Madrid 1, Inter Milan 0. Toni Kroos's goal 17 minutes into the contest, the difference between the two sides. And then midway in the second half, we saw a red card for Nicolo Barella for punching out at Eder Militao, punching his leg, his calf muscle. It wasn't a straight punch in the face. That would have been a red card and a pretty hefty ban as well, but it's silly nonetheless from Barella. And now Real Madrid with a chance to break forward down the left-hand side. Here is Vinicius Junior. He's got Bastoni. He squares it now for Modric, who just can't quite hold on to the ball. It's a good challenge that from Arturo Vidal. It's now with his compatriot Alexis Sanchez. He's then brought down, and that's going to be a free kick for Inter Milan, but very deep inside his own half. And that's the problem that Inter Milan have got now with one fewer man on the field. Sanchez is having to drop inside his own half to even get a touch of the ball.
Yeah, and that's the point that Sanchez was making. He was having a bit of a complaint after that free kick, but it wasn't for the free kick or expecting a yellow card for the rival. It was to his teammates. It's the fact that, look how far I've had to drop just to get anywhere near the ball. And that is going to be a problem for Inter in these last 15 minutes, even with all these new players. As now, it looks like Real are getting ready to make a triple change.
Yep, it's hard for us to keep up with the new substitution
Almost feels
laws.
like a friendly at times, doesn't it, the amount of changes coming in now?
Yeah, it was something that we just about got used to with the Premier League, but they're now reverting back to 3 substitutions, although IFAB are hoping that the 5 substitution rule could come in on a permanent basis.
I agree.
They want all the leagues to adopt that, as it's a challenge there from Vidal, who's been very lively since coming off the bench. Now a chance for Perisic to come forward. He's been closely tracked there by Eduardo Camavinga. Has he ran the ball out of play? He hasn't. He's actually bought the throw-in off Camavinga. So a good piece of play that from Ivan Perisic. And now the triple substitution is about to be made. Mariano Diaz is going to come on, as is Marco Asensio. So first alteration will be Rodrigo coming off and Asensio on in his place. It looks as though Federico Valverde is the third of those substitutions. He's coming on now for the goal scorer Toni Kroos. So a younger option in midfield is the Uruguayan. So we know for definite Rodrigo and Kroos are coming off, and Mariano Diaz is going to replace Luka Jovic up front. And I suppose the only tactical alteration you can make with a triple substitution really is fresh legs at this stage, because I don't think Real Madrid need to change what they're doing on the field really that much.
No, there have been a few moments just since the red card where they potentially could have felt under threat, but overall they have looked controlled in this second half. Even before the red card, it wasn't as easy for Inter. So this presents a good chance for these 3 squad players to come in and really show they can shore up the game here in these last 12 minutes. But it's a long throw from Perisic.
Yeah, the throw comes in towards the near post. It was flicked back, and Courtois had to be quick off his line because Sanchez was there free. Although if you were going to look at an aerial battle, you'd say Courtois would beat Sanchez all day long. And now the ball is played forward quickly towards Mariano Diaz. I think he was in an offside position. He looked to be quite static up there, and Inter Milan waste no time in getting the game back underway. Gagliardini now rolls it downwards looking for Skriniar across, and it's given away, and that's really cheaply presented now to Vinicius Junior. Can he get away from Gagliardini? He plays it in for Asensio instead. He delayed the strike. I was convinced he was going to have a shot towards goal, but that extra drop of the shoulder, I think, meant that Inter could get back at him just in time.
They could. I was worried for Gagliardini that he's probably one step away from giving a penalty away as well, but it's a short short corner this time.
Short corner now to Kroos, Modric, I should say, edge of the area. He went for a Kroos-style left foot shot, but his was blocked this time. It's over now to Vinicius Junior on this near side. Modric plays it across, looking for Dani Carvajal. Here is Asensio! What a strike that is! And Real Madrid have got the second goal, and what an impact off the bench for Marco Asensio. He's made it 2-0. No wonder the Real Madrid fans inside the Bernabeu are applauding, and that's going to be Real Madrid topping the group.
Real Madrid topping the group, and what a strike this is. It's just right off the left foot. Curling effort, takes one touch, two touches, opens up the body, pings it off the inside of the post, across the goal, into the other side netting, and right into the corner. It's superb from Asensio. Handanovic is just a spectator.
Well, just like the Toni Kroos goal, no goalkeeper in the world would be saving that. It's so accurate. It's about as accurate as you can get when you can get the ball to clip off the post and go in like that, and it's an understated reaction, as you'd expect from Carlo Ancelotti, but inside he'll be absolutely thrilled as Marco Asensio, well, he certainly stamped his mark on this game, and now they're going to make the fifth and final change, and it's the most expensive player in the two squads. I think, looking at the two lineups off the top of my head, that is going to come on now. Vinicius Junior is coming off, and a 10-minute run out for Eden Hazard, maybe to try and inject a bit of magic of his own.
Well, from Hazard's point of view, this is the best time to come on if he wants to make a bit of an attacking impact, a bit of a sort of starring sub-role. Inter are out of the game now. They're down to 10 men. They're not going to get anything from the match, so potentially tiring, potentially more frustrated. Hazard may just get that one chance to shine.
A really brilliant goal from Asensio, and now Inter are rattled, and they're giving the ball away at the back. They've just about kept it in control, but the way that they were playing with fire inside their own box, Real Madrid all over them as it stands, and they've won a throw-in just in front of the beleaguered Simone Inzaghi, whose side are going to lose their long unbeaten run this evening against Real Madrid, unless they can pull off something spectacular, but I don't really see it. We've not had quite the same level of performance from Inter Milan in this second half, but you've got to say that the red card has changed the game so much.
The red card has changed the game. I think that if Inter would have a real good chance of getting something from this match, they needed to get their equaliser before half-time, really, because they played with such confidence. There was a real sort of get-up-and-go attitude about the way that Inter had the ball, and they just couldn't really maintain that for the second half. And, of course, the red card completely changed the game, and Real just completely in control now with 8.5 minutes still to play.
Here is Luka Modric. Oh, that's a lovely looking through ball, and it's a very good piece of defending from Bastoni coming across as Modric tried to play one with the outside of his right foot. We're getting plenty of replays of that spectacular Asensio strike from our studio pictures. Handanovic didn't even bother diving, and for good reason, because he wasn't going to get there. And Asensio with a broad grin on his face after he found the back of the net, his first Champions League goal of the season, and if he scores another one, I doubt it will be as spectacular as that. So Kroos and Asensio, the two goal scorers this evening. Borussia Dortmund have got a fifth goal against Besiktas in that game, and then Ajax are 4-2 up against Sporting. So that group has certainly been a lively one this evening, as Inter have a throw-in deep inside their own half. It's with Gagliardini, who've got it from Perisic, but he's just swamped, and there's just a lack of options now for Inter Milan. Real Madrid just a bit too slow and ponderous there. Oh, they've pulled the ball back. What are they doing, Inter Milan? It was Handanovic who nearly had the ball taken off him there. Just so lackadaisical inside the box, and Diaz will be disappointed that he didn't find the back of the net there. I've never seen anything quite like that before, as Modric comes towards the byline. Vidal really snapping at him, trying to bring him down. He wasn't able to do so. It is going to drop now for Arturo Vidal, who plays it down the channel, and now they're going to have to do some work to get back defensively, because it's with Sanchez now, but he's got no one ahead of him. Again, that's the problem of being down to 10 men. Sanchez is working diligently to try and keep hold of the ball, and he's won his side of throwing.
Yeah, gets a round of applause there from his manager, Ivan Perisic. You see that sometimes the players just completely misjudge how how much pace there is on the ball that's about to go out for a goal kick. That ball was pretty much static, and Perisic is waiting for it to go out. And in the end, they just about get away with that. But it's, I wouldn't have expected Inter to have made that sort of error in the first half.
Yeah, I think if we'd have been watching this in a bygone era, it would have made one of those Christmas DVD videotape gaff compilations if that would have resulted in a goal. Don't know what Perisic was thinking, but down the other end, he's thinking about trying to create an opportunity, and his cross takes a deflection on its way through. It's going to be a corner kick for Inter Milan. I really don't know what to expect of the rest of this game.
But you mentioned those blooper DVDs. Quite a few of my relatives were disappointed when they stopped making those, because it was the easiest gift to give to a football fan, wasn't it? Just find the latest one and get them in. But this is a great opportunity now for Inter. If they were to get a goal back here, 6 minutes to play, might just open up the game towards the end.
It certainly might, as the corner is going to be taken by DiMarco. It's headed towards goal, and it's good contact on the header from Milan Skriniar, but it's straight at the keeper, Thibaut Courtois. Really steady hands from the ex-Chelsea man, because it's a bullet header from Skriniar.
It is a bullet header, but it really is pretty much straight at his chest, isn't it? Straight at Courtois. Either side of him, a bit of a bounce on that ball, perhaps before it reaches the keeper, and suddenly things get a bit more difficult. But as you say, Courtois, very confident hands there, makes the save.
Well, some might say that it's quite a bad finish from Skriniar, in that he should be looking to head that either side, but you've also got to look at Courtois' positioning and just anticipating where the ball is going to be headed to. I think it's really good goalkeeping that from the Belgian. I don't think Skriniar did an awful lot wrong. Mendy's done something wrong there, because he's given a hospital ball over to the far side, but he's rescued now by his teammates, and now Real Madrid can come forward. But that's a great challenge in midfield from Gagliardini. I think it was on Marco Asensio, who's certainly got his tail up now. He's fancying scoring another goal. He's gone into the centre forward position. It's quite a fluid lineup that Real Madrid have got now, but this is good play from Inter Milan as they break into the Real Madrid half. It's now with DiMarco, who's running through the middle, across now to Perisic over on the far side. Perisic is going to lift one in towards the far side. It's an excellent touch from D'Ambrosio, who's got Mendy all around him. D'Ambrosio can pull the ball in. It's taken out of the air by Thibaut Courtois, but very good play that from D'Ambrosio. Certainly not giving up without a fight.
No, he's not. And D'Ambrosio's had a great game, much like Barella. We've seen him getting forward almost as a wing back, even though he's supposed to be on paper one of the back three, one of the centre backs for Inter. And I like the fact there's been a little bit of a flurry from Inter in the last few minutes. Just when they looked like they were making too many mistakes at the back, they've suddenly enjoyed a bit of possession inside the Real half.
Here's Hazard on the far side. Saw him throughout his Chelsea career play primarily on the left, but he's popped up on the right now. Long ball played up towards Mariano Diaz, who tried to flick it on, and looking for Hazard, I think, who's recently recovered from a bout of gastroenteritis. So when he's not picking up muscular injuries, he's picking up illnesses as well. It's just been that kind of stint for Eden Hazard, but he's okay to play now, the former Chelsea man. Skriniar now goes across to DiMarco. DiMarco for Perisic on the far side. Vidal wants it short. He's a lively customer, Arturo Vidal. He certainly brings a lot of energy to the Inter Milan side, and he's brought a lot of energy to Bayern and Barcelona teams in years gone by. A very decorated player indeed. DiMarco now plays it through towards Vidal. It's just a heavy touch, but he's managed to find a teammate in Perisic. Inter Milan keeping hold of the ball, but there's just not many avenues for them to exploit. They might look to do so now with Skriniar. He plays a short ball. It's now with Vecino on this near side. Vecino's going for a very lofted crossfield ball, and there's just not enough pace on it. There's too much height, and it makes it much easier for Carvajal to deal with, and he's headed it back towards Thibaut Courtois. But with 2.5 minutes to go, you can't see anything now other than a comfortable Real Madrid finale.
No, you can't really. I think that we've had that little flurry from Inter. Potentially the home side are just going to try and close things out now. May see a little bit of injury time at the end of the game, because we have had a multitude of substitutions, and that's a red card as well.
Yeah, the battery level is depleting from the Inter Milan side, unfortunately, but Real Madrid look full of energy now, and they'll be going into the round of 16. Top dogs from Group D, 88 gone, Real Madrid 2, Inter Milan 0. Goals from Toni Kroos and Marco Asensio, the difference between the two sides. But the sliding doors moment in the match we'd probably look back and say that it was the Nicolo Barella red card midway inside the second half. That's an excellent looking through ball towards Asensio, but DiMarco just gets a toe in the nick of time. And now he can play the ball forward towards Vecino. Vecino gets there ahead of Militao, who's misjudged that header, and he's able to play it forward through now towards Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez now to Vecino. Vecino gets to the edge of the box, but he's well challenged. It's a combination of players there. It was Ferland Mendy and Militao getting back. Credit to Militao, who made the mistake initially.
He did. He made up for that as Modric now spreads the play out down this left-hand side, looking to try and get Mariano Diaz into the game. You can't fault Inter's effort there in trying to get forward again, but now with Real looking so confident on the pitch, they just got that extra man. They just seem to be able to cover everything that Inter are trying to do.
Looks as though Real Madrid's city rivals Atletico are going to go through to the round of 16. They're now 2-0 up at Porto, and with Liverpool beating AC Milan, their passage to the round of 16 looks all but confirmed now. Here is Eden Hazard over on the far side. Rolls it back now towards Camavinga, and now Asensio. Hazard once more, back through to Asensio. Inter still trying their best, but trying in vain. As now Real spread the play back through the middle. Here is Modric, and now Federico Valverde for Ferland Mendy. Modric is making the run ahead of him, but Real just slowing the pace of the game down somewhat. Hazard now plays it back towards David Alaba for Valverde, and Alaba again. We've just ticked over the 90, and that is full time. No added time whatsoever, and Real Madrid have secured top spot in Group D thanks to goals from Toni Kroos and Marco Asensio. Full time at the Bernabeu. Real Madrid 2, Inter Milan 0.